getting information from this source and that source, and it's just, coming to me, in big quantities. So I am dibbing and dabbling to everything. But this is all part of my healing journey. So I want to get into this thing. I had always questioned religion. I always questioned the Bible. Everybody's interpretation of the Bible is different to me, for what I've learned. And I had myself so many interpretations of what, the Bible meant. And I've come to many conclusions, but how do I know which one is the right conclusion? I've always had so many questions because, there were so many, there was so much that was unanswered, and we have to, just live and learn through life. And like, it's just like, why? And that's just one of the many questions that I've wondered. So I created this little series of guides from questions that I had. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've read the whole Bible, because I have not. Because sometimes when I'm reading it, it makes me mad. It frustrates me a little bit. So I'm not going to say I've read it all. But there's a lot of it that I have read because I have to decipher and understand what is what. How do I learn it? They say it's a book of life. Well, I guess I got to learn from the book of life. I've had doubts in the Bible at one point, and just so many questions. So I took a lot of my questions and really took the time to try to figure it out. And one of the things that I did was put all these questions together, because I'm one of those people who I've learned that I can't serve two people. And so the way that our government works, it really irks my nerve. And I would see this in God we trust, in God we trust, in God we trust. And that, just mind boggles me. And then the concept of, Jesus and all that stuff. So yeah, I took my questions and tried to break them down as best as I could. I named this series God, Life, and Government in the Bible. And it's a breakdown. I broke it down into different guides to help me understand. So I want to share those things with you all. So for this particular one, this is a breakdown of what the government should do versus what it should not do, based on mainly each book of the Bible. In the Old Testament, in Genesis, what they should not do is abuse authority or redefine morality apart from God. Right there tells you that, one, they have definitely abused their authority. And two, they have most definitely redefined morality apart from God. And there's nothing godly about what's going on in this world. What they should do is establish order and justice based on divine principles. I am 37. I did not start actually learning about divine principles until I was 29. 29. Why has it taken me 29 years? Why wasn't this taught in school? This makes me question so much more. Exodus. Here's what they should do, and that's protect people from oppression and lead with justice. This is the total opposite in the world we live in. So, is it in government we trust or in God? What they should not do is enslave, exploit, or burden people unfairly. Do they not enslave and exploit and burden people unfairly to the maximum? Absolutely. Absolutely. Leviticus. What they should do is create laws that promote morality, public health, and fairness. I'm on the fence about the public health because of the fact that they create these health problems so that they can keep a system going. I've been more healthy without, their toxins versus with it. They don't create laws that promote morality, and there is no fairness. What they should not do is enforce laws selectively or favor the elite, which is absolutely what they do. The book of Numbers. What they should do is ensure leadership is accountable and consult with wisdom before making policies. I can't say that they consult with any type of wisdom. I have yet to see it. It's all a show to me, or to them, rather. I'm just watching it with everyone else. Only thing is I know it's a show. Excuse me. What they should not do is make rash decisions based on fear or self-interest. I think a lot of the worst things that some of the officials do is done based off of fear. And of course self-interest, but mainly off of fear. 5. Deuteronomy. What they should do is govern with integrity, ensuring equal justice for all. What they should not do is favor the wealthy or powerful while neglecting the poor. Yeah, okay. Joshua. What they should do is defend the nation and uphold moral order. It seems like they don't, the only way they defend them, they don't defend us as a nation. They don't. They defend them and whatever nonsense that they're always conjuring up. Because there's no real beef, with us. It's with them. They're the one who creates the beef. What they should not do is lead through fear, greed, and corruption. Well, those are their main, goals. That's what they do. Judges. What they should do is establish consistent law and order. What they should not do is allow lawlessness and moral decay, which is and has been gone since I know my family that are still alive today have not been able to escape the lawlessness. The book of Ruth. What they should do is protect and provide for the vulnerable. Yeah. Our country has so many homeless people, so many vulnerable youth, people in general who look for protection and it is just not available without giving every inch of energy that you have to get protection. What they should not do is ignore the needs of the widow, foreigner, or poor. And we all know what that is. Yeah. 1 Samuel. What they should do is choose leaders based on character and not popularity. We're not even going to get into that. What they should not do is allow power to corrupt or override God's authority. I can't even tell you when that began. Could that be like the 1920s, or shall I say 1800? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. 2 Samuel. What they should do is ensure leaders are held accountable for their actions. Yeah. Okay. What they should not do is abuse power for personal gain. Yeah. Okay. Book 1 Kings. What they should do is rule with wisdom and promote national stability. Yeah. Okay. What they should not do is ignore moral responsibilities or chase power at any cost. Book 2 Kings. What they should do is enforce justice and maintain national security. What they should not do is ignore warnings against corruption and idolatry. Yeah, we way past that. Way past it. 1 Chronicles. They should keep a record of righteous leadership and learn from history. Not change history, learn from it. They should not forget the lessons of past failures. Yeah, they would be in all this debt then. They got some work to do. Book 2 Chronicles. They should reform governance when necessary and lead people towards righteousness. They against each other. They should not resist correction or allow unchecked corruption. Book of Ezra. They should rebuild and restore a broken nation with integrity. They should not neglect moral and spiritual values in governance. And if it don't align with their Christian values, they don't want to hear it. Nehemiah. Protect the people is what they should do and rebuild broken systems. They should not exploit labor or allow opposition to stall progress. The Book of Esther. They should use political influence to protect and serve the people. They should not let personal vendettas shape national policy. The Book of Job. They should recognize that power comes with the responsibility to serve justly. They should not assume wealth or status makes one above accountability. The Book of Psalms. They should lead with righteousness, acknowledging God's authority. Not God, God. They should not ignore injustice or silence of voices of the oppressed. How many times have we wanted them to listen? They got here. The Book of Proverbs. They should make wise, well-informed decisions for the common good. They should not be influenced by bribes, deception, or folly. I was just, I had just asked my cousin of mine, over the weekend to help me with this word because I was deep in it and I wasn't going to get it right. So, I got this. Ecclesiastes. Oh, he going to get me if I got it wrong. They should govern with humility knowing power is temporary. They should not seek control for selfish ambition. Book of Song of Solomon. They should promote strong families and relationships. That would be amazing. They should not undermine the value of commitment and love. The book of Isaiah. They should defend the poor and maintain justice. Yeah. They should not oppress the weak or trust in corrupt alliances. We shouldn't even have any alliances. The book of Jeremiah. They should listen to the truth and act righteously. They should not ignore warnings and follow selfish interests. The book of Lamentations. They should acknowledge when leadership has failed and seek restoration. They should not ignore the suffering of the people. How many times did they say that? How many times have I thought about that? The book of Ezekiel. They should lead with integrity in righteousness. They should not engage in corruption or idolatry. The book of Daniel. They should allow space for religious freedom and faith-based convictions, and they should not enforce oppressive laws against belief systems. The book of Hosea. They should promote faithfulness and national renewal. They should not allow leaders to be unfaithful to their responsibilities. That seems to be the game right there. That non-faithfulness. The book of Joel. They should call for national repentance and renewal. They should not ignore the need for moral reform. The book of Amos. They should ensure fairness and protect the poor. They should not use power or personal or corporate greed. The book of Obadiah. They should promote peace between nations. They should not act arrogantly towards others. The book of Jonah. They should give even the worst nations a chance to change. They should not withhold mercy and justice. The book of Micah. They should act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly. They should not oppress people through unjust laws. The book of Nahum. They should hold evil accountable, not praise it. They should not ignore the consequences of corruption, not keep it going. The book of Habakkuk. They should trust God's timing for justice. They should not lose patience and act out of desperation. The book of Zephaniah. They should seek righteousness before disaster comes. They should not ignore warnings of impending judgment. I'm going to leave it off there because I don't want to be too long. Don't like super long videos. So, I will do a part 2 that will follow the second half of this one series. The next time.